Hello everybody, my name is Khaled Siddiqui, and in this video I'm going to introduce and teach you how to use and take full advantage of Garmin Drive 60 GPS. Now Garmin Drive 60, Garmin Drive 60LM, Garmin Drive 50 and so on, they're basically the same software setup with very minor differences, so this tutorial should work for all of them. The difference is mainly in the screen size between the LM50 and LM60 and so on. So here is how we do it. Let's start mounting this. So the first thing is, of course, you need to mount it somewhere secure. So you will be inserting the mount bottom first, snap the top like that. To release it, you push and releases it. Let me show you the mechanism. You push this. So that's how it releases itself, okay? You push this to release, okay? And you snap it like that. The suction cup goes like this right here. Like that. Now, in some states, they don't allow you to mount the Garmin on the windshield, any GPS device on the windshield, because they say it's blocking driver's vision. In those states, you're gonna have to use one of those sticky pads like this. I showed this last time. This basically is like it has a sticky in the back. It goes on the dashboard. And then the Garmin sits on it like this. You snap it like that. This usually comes with a new Garmin. Sometimes you have to buy it separately. Even if you have to buy it separately, it's only a couple of dollars. Okay, so this is our GPS. Let me remove this so I can set it here so you can see. Now let's get onto using it and how all the different features work. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to darken the screen, because make it like nighttime so you can see better. There you go. Save. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. When you get a GPS, any GPS, the first thing you want to do is go to the settings and customize the GPS based on your specific need. Everybody's need is different, and the customization of each one's GPS is different. So I have a little microphone so I can pick up the sounds from the GPS speaker, so you could see how each button responds. Okay, all right, so let's go to the settings. When you're in the settings, let's start just in a row, exactly as it is. So from here we see the map update. If you want to update the map, you simply plug it into your computer and follow the instructions, install Garmin Express and yada yada, and you can update your GPS. When you get it off of the shelf in the store, usually the map is not most up to date. After buying it brand new in the store, because they sit in the store shelf for some time, the map is usually a year old. For example, if you buy a GPS right now, there's a good chance that the map will be version 2019. Well, this video was recorded in October 2020. So there you go. Now, maps and vehicles. This is where you see what's up with your maps and your vehicles. You click here, and the vehicle icon is the image of the car that's representing your car as it moves around the screen. So that is your vehicle. So you could choose an arrow. You could choose a vehicle like a little blue car. You could choose a truck. You could choose like a sports car, this and that. So you choose one, whichever one suits your vehicle. The map view, 3D or north up or track up. 3-dimensional view is the view that you see right there. If you choose north up, the map will show the top of the GPS will show the north. The problem with north up is that if you are traveling south on the freeway or any street and you're turning right on this GPS screen, you will be coming down and turning right. On the GPS screen, you will be turning left. It creates confusion, and that's why I don't like north up. Track up is okay, but again, it's not a three-dimensional map. So three-dimensional map, I think, is the best because it gives you a better perspective. And also on some Garmin devices where you could see the 3D buildings, you can see them much better if you're on the 3D vision. Okay, the map detail, currently it's normal. I like it more. The difference is that when you choose more, a lot of smaller streets and alleys and insignificant streets will appear on the screen, where if you choose normal, only major streets will appear on the screen, and if you choose less, only major highways and roads appear, small streets will not appear. So never choose less, either choose normal or more. In my case, I like more because I would like to see everything on the surrounding where I'm driving. Okay. Now the map theme. The map theme is basically the color layout of the map. So this is the color layout of Garmin. This is the color layout of Belgium. This is the Denmark, and so on. So that's personal preferences. I cannot tell you which one is better or which one is worse. Okay, so that was the map theme. And we go down. Now remember, you don't necessarily have to press these arrows. You could also go up and down with your hands like this. Let's see. Like that. You could go up and down with your hands, up and down. Not necessarily with the arrows, but I like the arrows because with your hand, when you do that, sometimes you collect an object that you're trying to scroll. So I like the the arrows. Okay, so let's go back up. Let's see what we covered. We covered the vehicle, we covered the map view, map detail, map theme, and now let's go and cover map tools. Now map tools are basically the icons that appear right here. Let me show you what these are. Let me cancel this and show you what they are. Go back. When you're showing map, and the map tools are things that appear when you hit this little wrench. These are your tools. So currently we have stop, we have up ahead, we have turns, and we have volume control. These are the tools that you want in that bar. Now when you choose the map tools, let me go back there. Maps and vehicles, map tools. Okay, so the ones that are checked, see, stop was appearing there because it's checked. Change route is not checked, it wasn't appearing there. And turns where it wasn't appearing. Trip data, that's very important. This should be checked. Trip data should be checked. And brightness, that's okay. I mean, yeah, why not? And save. Now, if I go back, you just press and hold that, and you go here, and you see, you have much more stuff. You have data, you have brightness, you have volume, you have all the goodies. Now, the disadvantage is every time you press tools, you have a bigger window covering up your map. That's the disadvantage. But other than that, that's what it is. Okay, now even from map tools, from this page, you can change which one you want by going to the setup here and then unchecking what you don't want. Like you can uncheck, and then you could save or you could cancel, whatever. Okay, now let's go back to settings. Now we covered, let's see, we covered map tools, and then we have to go whichever one's after that. Okay, map layers. Map layers are different layers of the map. The one layer is up ahead places. For example, if you turn this on as you're driving, you will get like icons of showing Jack in the Box is coming, McDonald's is coming, Starbucks coming. If you uncheck it, you're not going to see anything. You will just simply be driving. That points of interest in what's ahead is not going to come. Now, trip log is the route you have already gone through. Now this creates confusion because when your car moves, it creates a blue line behind the car showing the places where you have been already. That's the trip log. It's only good if you're lost in a desert, or excuse me, if you're lost in the middle of nowhere and you're wondering if you're going in circles. So this trip log comes in handy there. But if in normal city blocks, trip log will simply create confusion. If you're going to a new city, a completely new town, and you want to see where have you been already and where you haven't seen yet, then trip log comes in handy because you could see where you have already been and where you haven't gone, because it shows all the places where you have been. Okay. All right, so I canceled that. Let me see on the trip log. Hold on. Let me see on the trip log to see if there are trips. Save. Let me see if there are any trips in the log. No, I don't see any trip logs because it would be blue. So it's already clear. Okay, that's already clear. Let's go settings, maps and vehicles. Maps and vehicles. Let's go back. Map layers. That was map layers. And uncheck the trip log and save. Okay, so Audible driver alerts. This is very important. Now, if you check these, the Garmin will play like a little ring or a bell or whatever chime you want it to play to tell you if you are going above the speed limit, if you're going if the speed limit about to reduce. For example, you're traveling in a road at 40 miles an hour and the speed limit is about to reduce to 20 miles an hour. It will ring on you and it tell you that, you know what, pay attention, the speed limit dropped. And what else? It has animal crossing, railroad crossing, schools, and curves. This is a lifesaver. I would definitely choose curve, because if you're going in a mountainous range and you are not aware of an upcoming curve, especially at nights, if you're not aware of it, your vehicle could roll over down the mountain. This could be a lifesaver. So I recommend the curve one to choose that. I didn't choose it because I'm not using this GPS. I have too many other GPSs. Okay, so that's that. And now zoom. Let me explain what zoom is. Zoom is like as you are exiting the freeway, the map will zoom in closer to your vehicle to show details of small streets when they were actually not visible at the high speed of the freeway. So basically, the zoom, if it's enabled, it will zoom in and out based on your speed. If you're going very slow, the map will zoom in close to your car, showing small little streets and small little alleys and everything, dirt roads even. But when you zoom out and you're going, let's say you're doing 65 miles an hour, then it knows that the details of the map with small little streets and roads are not going to be important for you, because at the speed that you're in, there's no way you could make a right turn on those little streets. It will simply zoom out and not show you. So that's a good thing to enable. Okay, my installed maps are actually the maps that are installed in this. This unit has 2 years old map. Now 2018 4 squares and 2018 lower 49 states. The 4 square is your location that you can share with friends. Different businesses use that in order for your, basically it's like telling your group of people in your network where you're at, and and then it shows where you're at as a point of interest for other people to come and reach you. Those are the things. You could post things in different areas. For example, let's say you're a real estate agent and you have a house for sale in F Street or G Street. And then you could use Foursquare to mark yourself in there and saying that we are having an open house and this house is for sale. People could find you from Foursquare, only those who are in your network. Okay, so that's that. And let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, navigation. Let's choose this one. Navigation route preview shows the route preview when starting navigation. So that's good. There's nothing wrong with that, to get a preview of where you're going. Calculation mode, faster time. This is important to pay attention to, because if you say faster time, it could take you from a longer distance, and it will basically take you from the route that's fastest and most usage of freeways, even if that means the mileage of your car will go higher because the distance is longer. So obviously always you want to choose faster time only if you're on a rental truck or rental car and you're being charged based on miles. Only then you want to choose shortest distance. Off-roading is only good if your vehicle can handle off-roading. Now there are certain distances, like from point A to point B, you will get much faster if you could go off-road. But if your vehicle doesn't support off-road, then you have to turn it off. So these are the things you need to know. Okay, that was route calculation mode. Fatigue warning. Fatigue warning is like, that's just like the name says, you know, you either turn it on or turn it off. It suggests you breaks. Like if the GPS senses that you're driving for like straight 8 hours, then it tells you, you know what, you need to get some rest. And this could be a lifesaver. Now this, for private drivers, this is an option, but for professional business truck drivers, by law, they're required to get rests in order to continue traveling on public roads. Avoidance is very important because this will determine which roads the GPS should avoid. If you're using this GPS in an RV or an 18-wheeler big old truck, you have to avoid U-turns. You cannot make a U-turn with a truck. If you're using this GPS on a bicycle, you have to avoid highways. You cannot go to a highway with your bicycle. If you have a truck that cannot go inside ferries and little ships that are taking the boats, taking the cars across the, usually they're taking it across the lakes and across the, bays and stuff. So you want to avoid that, okay? Carpool lanes. If you're traveling alone, you must avoid carpool lanes or else you're going to get a ticket. And you can avoid unpaved roads if your vehicle cannot handle unpaved roads. Now, I'm surprised that this doesn't have the avoidance of toll roads where you have to pay. Most GPSs have the avoidance of toll roads. Okay. All right. So save that. Let's go down. Custom avoidance. You could customize an avoidance, add an avoidance area. For example, if you're familiar, if you live in a city where there are a lot of crimes, a lot of carjackings, and a lot of drive-by shooting, you name it. So you definitely want to avoid that area. So you could add that area and say, you know what, avoid Washington Street or avoid 2nd Avenue, wherever you have high crime rate. Okay, so that's what that is. Let's see. Okay, restricted mode is good. It's safe for you. Because features will be disabled while the vehicle's in motion. For example, if your car is in motion, you cannot enter an address. You have to pull over, safely park the car, and then you can enter an address. The GPS senses the motion of your vehicle and it will disable entry. This is good if you are the lonely driver in entering the address. But for me, I always travel with my better half, my wife. And I'm driving, she's entering the addresses, so I don't need to have that restriction mode. Because my eyes are on the street or on the road while she's entering the address. Okay, GPS simulator is very important to know. GPS simulator is that the GPS, first usage for GPS simulator is for indoors. If you want to use your GPS indoors just to, practice and learn how to enter addresses and this and that, you use simulator. The satellite reception will be turned off. Basically, the satellite radio will be turned off. And the other thing of GPS simulator is automatic, which is not in your control, is that if you're entering a tunnel at 20 miles an hour, and when you're going in that tunnel or underground tunnel or in the mountain tunnel, whatever, if you're going in that, the GPS signal will drop down to 0, and the GPS simulator will assume your location and speed based on whatever speed you entered the tunnel. For example, if you enter the tunnel at 20 miles an hour, the GPS will assume which part of the tunnel you must be at this time based on the entrance speed. Now, that's just an assumption and a calculation which is not very real, not realistic, because if there is a backup inside the tunnel and you're stuck, the GPS thinks you're about to come out of the tunnel. So those are the things that you can. So GPS simulator is for indoor. Don't turn it on, because if you do turn it on, it will turn off the satellite reception. Okay. Maps and vehicles, we already did cover that. Proximity alerts. Now this is good if you it will alert you when you're getting close to near a certain place. What kind of alerts you want: single tone, continuous tone, or off. And alert types: Garmin red light cameras, or you could have speed cameras, or anything else you could choose. And that's that. So we covered everything in the settings. Now let's go and cover display. The display brightness, this is the display orientation. Landscape is this way. If I want to use the GPS like a phone, like a smartphone, then I change the orientation to portrait, and then my GPS will be like this. In some cases this is good, because if you're traveling straight, you want to see more data this way than looking sideways. But honestly, I'm not a big fan of that. I like to see it this way. Okay, so the color mode. Now, by the way, the orientation is automatic on some models of Garmin. As soon as you change the GPS, it has a sensor that will change the orientation. In this model, you have to manually change it. Okay, the night mode brings nighter colors. The day mode brings brighter colors. And the automatic will automatically detect if it's night or day, and it will adjust it accordingly. Okay, and this is the brightness. Currently it's running at 80%. You can make it brighter, you could make it darker, and so on. So the 80 was good. All right, so display timeout. Timeout means the display will turn off after 2 minutes. Is that a good idea? No, it's not. You never want your GPS display to turn off on you, especially when you're driving. Now, even though the display timeout will never turn off when you're in the middle of a route, an ongoing in progress route, but why take a chance? Why take a chance? So I don't want to have it turned on. Screenshot is to take a picture of the screen. For example, if you are in an area and you don't know where it is, you want to send your location to a friend, or you want to like take a snapshot of the map of that area and save it later, then you can choose this. And then what happens, the camera button appears. Let me go back. If you go here, you have a little camera button right there, and whatever is on the screen, it will take a picture of that. You press it, you just press. Those pictures are saved. So that is a screenshot. Okay, let me go back and turn that off. Oops, I was on display. There you go. Okay, and I was on screenshot. Uncheck the screenshot. So I unchecked the screenshot, so now I don't have to worry about it. Units, you have to choose miles or kilometers, and also choose between 12 hours and 24 hours, and so on. So in the United States, you have to choose, in United States and England, you have to choose miles, and everywhere else you have to choose kilometers, and save. And the position format, I don't recommend that you change that, because that's the GPS, coordinates are, I should say, longitude and latitude coordinates, which you don't want to differ or change, because if somebody gives you their address and coordination in the coordinates format, then you will be very confused, because you have to choose the standard, the way they gave you, which is minutes, seconds, degrees, and all that. So that's units, position format, and that's it. So we basically covered most of the stuff. Okay, now language and keyboard. Language and keyboard is an important factor. The voice language is the language that the speaker speaks. For example, you have American English. The language that has TTS, or text to speech, are the ones that will pronounce the street names. For example, if I were to choose a language without a person's name, let's see. Okay, see, I don't speak Oriental languages, so I don't know. For example, this one speaks the street names. This one. The one without the TTS will tell you turn right, but it doesn't tell you turn right on Broadway, turn right on First Street. It doesn't speak to the street names. Now, this may be not that important for you if you're driving in America, because you can see their street names. But if you're going somewhere in a different country and those street names are so hard to read, this will come in handy for you. Okay, so this is the speaking language. Okay, now text language. Text language is the language of all the icon, all the menus. For example, display is written in English. Keyboard language is written in English. These will be in a different language if you change the text language. For example, voice and languages will be written in French if you choose French. So text language should be the language that you know, okay? But keyboard language you must change based on the country you're going to. For example, if you're going to a country where they have Cyrillic alphabet like Russia, if you have an American keyboard, you cannot enter Russian addresses. If you're going to a country like where should I say, like Italy or Spain or Germany, where they have little accents on their alphabet, you cannot choose an American keyboard and enter street names in their country. So you have to have the keyboard of that specific country to enter those street names written in that alphabet. So the keyboard language is important to choose depending on your country. The text language is important to choose based on the language you speak, and the voice language is obviously the same, the language you speak. Okay, let's see, we covered that, units and everything. Okay, so we covered that. Proximity alerts we covered. This is the device information about, basically it's about end user license agreement, travel history and all that. Okay, these are the normal setups. Now I'm going to go to apps. The apps are some things that you can buy or download basically from Garmin. This is a Garmin backup camera, which you have to buy that hardware to make this activated. Trip planner, you can plan your trip. If you're making multiple stops, you can use that to plan a trip. Let's say you're going on a trip from East Coast to West Coast and you want to make 5 stops. So you can plan that trip with that. You could say I'm going from California to Arizona, and then I'm going to have a stop in Texas, and I'm going to have a stop somewhere else, all the way to, let's say, to Florida. So that's how you use that. This is help. It's a no-brainer. You press it for if you need help. This is where you have been, basically your history, places you've been. And this is the last spot, especially parking. Like if you park your vehicle and you forgot where it was, so you take your GPS obviously with you when you park your vehicle because it will be stolen. So you take your GPS and then you forgot where you park. You go to last spot, the GPS will tell you where to go to get to your car. Foursquare, I already mentioned, is to let others know where your location is, and so on. That's a group of private network, not all the world, private people. People who are in your group. Okay, so that's that. Volume control. Now the volume control seems like simple no-brainer, but there are a lot more complexity involved in this page than what you see there. This is the setup of the volume. If you want the buttons to have a sound, you check this box. If you don't want it to have a sound, you uncheck it. So now this is the mute and unmute. Okay, now what is hidden in the volume control, which the Garmin manual doesn't even tell you, is the upper right corner to press. If you press the upper right corner, the GPS will take you to a completely different diagnostic and like setup screen. I'm gonna press and hold for a few seconds, and there you go. This is Diagnostic Page. And Diagnostic Page, you have clear all user data. You could clear everything, yes or no, if you want to. Well, I don't want to do it right now, but you could go to demo mode or undo demo mode. If this was in a demo mode, this is where you undo it. You could go to configuration and settings. You could go to developer mode. Configuration and settings is different types of setting, like fatigue warning time. You want it to give you a warning every 120 minutes, every 90 minutes, or so, and so on. And then you have MTP, mass storage device, and when you plug it into your USB, this is where you set it up. If you want your GPS to act like a flash drive when you plug it into your computer, you choose mass storage. If you want your GPS to act like a GPS was plugged into your computer and trigger Garmin update, then you use automatic. And single session is just one time to plug it into your computer and then go back to the auto. So that's what that is. Now there are a lot of other settings that has nothing to do with you. It's like debugging and for developers and all that. So those you don't have to worry about. I'm not going to go into detail and make you go crazy, but yeah, that's what this is. This is hidden right here. Not very many people know about that. So when you want to go somewhere, you click on where to, and you simply, if you want to go home, press home. If you want to enter an address, click on the address and go there. Saved is your favorite places where you have already saved. Recent place you have been or okay, this is intersection. This one that looks like intersection is to add a shortcut. So you have to choose which shortcut you want to add. Trip planner shortcut, this and that. So now I added intersection, and this is where you enter the first street and second street. So because that looks like intersection, so I was confused. So the first street, let's say Florida. Okay, so you name the name. Let's say 2nd Avenue. 2nd Avenue. Okay. And then 2nd Avenue will cross which street? So you have to choose the 2nd street. 2nd Avenue and Broadway. B-R-O-A-D Broadway. 2nd Avenue and Broadway. It's searching. Now I just made that up. Maybe there is no such thing as 2nd Avenue and Broadway. So there you go. You choose one of these. So that's how you do that. I'm not in Florida, I'm in California, but the GPS has no satellite signal because I'm indoor. It thinks I'm in Florida. So yeah, that's that. I covered most of the things, and there are some more diagnostic and features that may not be important to you, such as holding on to the battery icon, which I'm not going to go into that detail because I don't want to make you more confused. But if you hold on to the battery icon like that, the GPS takes you to a completely different diagnostic page. It tells you everything you need to know about the GPS, and it shows you the screen diagnostic, it shows you different colors diagnostics, and all kinds of diagnostic. Now that's not something you would need to know. That's why I only tell you things based on need to know basis. That's something you don't need to know, so that's why I didn't emphasize that too much. Okay, so I turned it off, and when you turn it off, if you hold your finger here as it's turning on, that's another way to reset to clear all user data, or like that. That's another way. I'm not going to do that, but I'm just saying that you have multiple ways to do that. Accept term license, and there you go. Alright, so that was basically everything you needed to know about this GPS, and this is where the memory card goes for updated maps or maps of different countries, and that's all there is with. Now this is a Garmin, like I said, this is a Garmin Drive 60LM, but this instruction is the same for Garmin Drive 50, some 40s or even like this, and you just have to. The screen sizes are different and some minor changes on the interface, software interface. Nothing major to be concerned about it. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.